Hello and welcome, my friends. This video today is coming to you as a service to my subscriber, Meximax. Meximax has a question. So, Meximax, here's the answer to your question, and this video is for you. Let's get into this. Okay, so his question was pretty simple. By the way, as a trucker, I am curious to hear your thoughts on all the unlicensed Indians causing crashes lately. Okay, well, thank you for the question. And I take those things very seriously. If you ask me to make a video on a topic, I will absolutely make a video on that topic. Now, whether I'm very well versed in that, I can only give you the opinion that I have and the information facts that I have on a topic, but I will always respond to a request for a video because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for myself. This is fun. I do this to help people and to enjoy myself because I sure as hell don't make money doing this. So here's the first thing, Meximax. The Indians got tired of screwing up customer service and crashing my computer and making it completely impossible to have a conversation on the phone with someone who I'm trying to get help from. So they thought, let's put them in trucking. They haven't screwed that up. No, just kidding. Seriously, that's kind of what it feels like. That's the comic version of the answer to this question. The real answer is much more scary and insidious, and I've tried to make this video like twice now, and it gets really long because this is a complicated subject. It really is. So I'm going to talk fast, and I'm going to try and give you guys the Reader's Digest version of this, okay? Now, for those of you who don't know, there was an extremely horrendous fatal car crash that happened in Florida, where an Indian or a Sikh or somebody wearing a towel on their head made an illegal U-turn in the middle of a major freeway or highway or state highway, but it was a big road. And there's video of this. You can go find this. He's turning, the camera in the truck is facing back towards his trailer, and you watch a minivan go sailing by and plow into the underside of his reefer trailer. Now, reefer doesn't refer to the pot like a, yeah, man. That's not what that means. Reefer refers to refrigerated trailer, not a pot truck. So just so you understand that, reefer does not refer to that. So killed. I think everybody in the car, maybe one person survived, but the two in the front died instantly because basically it just cut the top off the car. Because, if you've gone by a trailer or a semi-truck on the highway, they sit up fairly high. And if you're in a low car, instant convertible, and you're missing some very important parts of your body at that point. Really horrendous. Trying to put lipstick on a pig here and make it slightly funny for something that's absolutely not funny at all. Family of people lost their lives. Now, there's a lot of reasons this is happening. There's a shortage of truck drivers in this country, and it's been purposely done to us. They've changed the rules. They've done so many things. We have so many groups like MAD, Mothers Against Tired Truckers, or whatever the hell that stands for. We've had all these groups all these years lobbying Congress to mistreat and abuse the truckers, and that's on top of the abuse we already take from the people that we work for. Trucking companies are notoriously horrible to their drivers. I have been driving for 25 years and have yet to drive for a company that actually wants to treat me like a human being. Most of them just want to treat you like an asset, where they want you to live in that truck. Just because it has a sleeper on it does not mean I want to live there. Okay, it's like living in a box motel. It's kind of like the new idea. Truck drivers have been exposed to the new idea of, you will live in the pod, you will eat the bugs, and you will be happy, and you will own nothing. That's kind of what a truck driver lives already. We live in the pod, we don't eat the bugs, but we eat stuff just as bad as bugs because the truck stops don't have anything healthy in them, and they're the only place we can get into. You try and get into anywhere else in a truck, and you get ticketed. You have people mad at you because it's too big. You can't get in and out with them. It's just terrible. But I've been doing this for 25 years. And like I said, I've been in almost every state in the country, with the exception of the ones I don't want to go into. And I've been in some of the ones that I don't want to go into a lot more than I wanted to go into them. And I've also spent a lot of time in Western Canada. I've been in 4 or 5 of the provinces of Canada. I always loved going into Canada. They were actually more appreciative of truck drivers. You get down here and people just see you as an impediment to their day. And how come that truck's only going 1 mile an hour faster than the other truck? And people have no clue. If you've never driven a truck, you don't have a clue how hard it is to be a truck driver. People see a truck driver and they get out and they're fat and and stuff like that. They're fat because most of them, like I said, we don't get to eat healthy. I take all my food from home, but you can only store so much food in them little teeny refrigerators that are in those trucks. But it's a great life and a terrible life all at once. There's really good aspects to it, and there's really horrible aspects to it. And over the years, because of Congress and groups and this person and this company trying to take away these benefits, and the state trying to take away this opportunity, and being told how much you can work and when you can work, and if you work more than that, well, then it's illegal. And if you get into an accident while you're not supposed to be on the clock, well, then you'll get sent to prison for murder. That happened to a guy that I know. Because they blamed him, said he shouldn't have been on the road. Somebody crashed into the back of him, completely not his fault, and they sent him to prison. So welcome to being a truck driver in 2025. So a lot of people have gotten out of trucking. They've retired. The other problem is there's so many middlemen in the trucking industry. Brokers brokering loads to this broker, to that broker, to this broker, to that broker, to this broker, to that broker, between the shippers and the receivers, that by the time it goes through all those damn brokers, there's no money left for the people who are actually doing the work, the truck drivers and the trucking companies. So the trucking companies are operating on razor thin margins, beating the shit out of their employees to make those margins work. Get it? And so most of the old timers didn't want to put up with this crap. They retired. They went and did something else. They went and got a job as a greeter at Walmart because it was less stressful. And honestly, you deal with the same exact kind of people that you do in the truck stops. So why not do a Walmart greeter thing? But anyway, so the shortage has caused problems where they're desperate to get truck drivers. And rather than change the industry or fix the problems or do anything like that, they're just bringing in anybody who has a pulse to drive these trucks. We, in the trucking industry, like to call them steering wheel holders because that's all they're good for. They don't know how to drive a truck. They don't know how to operate a truck in a safe manner around cars and other people and buildings and objects and things that they might run into, like bridges, because they didn't pay attention to the height limit on a bridge. And so they just tried to create a convertible trailer by just ripping the top clean off of it. I'm sure you've seen those videos on the internet. So they're trying to bring in all these people from outside the country to fill the void. Because trucking has become an industry where people don't want to work in it anymore because the lifestyle isn't good, the away time isn't good. If you want to have any kind of a home life, forget it. Most trucking companies, you just call up a trucking company randomly, see somebody like Schneider, Swift, some of the big companies that you see all the time, call them up and ask them, hey, I'd like to become a truck driver. How long are you guys out? They'll tell you you're going to be on the road for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Okay, and that means you're going to have to do resets out on the road, which means you will end up sitting somewhere on the road for 36 hours, paying to eat and take care of yourself and find a place to do laundry and stuff while you're making no money. And eventually, when they do allow you to go home, they're going to tell you, okay, you get 36 hours and then we want you back in that truck. Can you take care of all the things in your life that you've been neglecting for 3 weeks out of a month in 36 hours? Especially if you come home on a Sunday or a Saturday. No, good luck with that. You better call your mom or somebody to take care of the crap like paying your bills and trying to survive, because you're not going to be able to do it. So the trucking industry has been bleeding drivers because nobody wants to live like this. Nobody wants to make that kind of money and live that kind of a lifestyle, because you can do pretty well as a truck driver, but you have no life. And it doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you have no life, you don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. And that's the problem. They've taken away the flexibility. They've taken away a place to stop and take a break. I mean, driving a truck used to be a laid back occupation. I mean, you got your miles in, you could stop and you could sit down at a meal and have a cup of coffee with your friends. I didn't drink coffee, but you could sit down and drink and a coffee and have a meal, with other people. Hell, now all you can do is run in, grab something from the truck stop, get back in that truck and haul ass because you don't have any time. You're under the gun the entire time you're in that truck. So they've bled all these people out of the industry. So they're trying to bring in people, and they're just bringing in anybody who can hold a steering wheel. And so now you've got these people who can't speak English. They're illegal, half of them, or they're here on an H2N1 visa, and they can't speak English or understand the road signs. The guy that caused this accident could identify 2 out of 12 signs on the road. 2. And he had a commercial driver's license brought to us by the great state of California. California. Because California is a sanctuary state and they think anybody with a pulse deserves all the rights and privileges that every single American who was born here or who have gone through the right processes to become an American citizen, well, you should just get those automatically. No. No, you should not, and for very good reason. If you can't speak the language, if you can't read the language, if you can't understand road signs, you shouldn't be in a truck. And if you are here illegally, you shouldn't be here, period. Full stop. End of story. And that's what's happening. People are being thrown into these trucks, thrown into this meat grinder, and just told to go. The companies aren't taking care of them. This company that had this guy has apparently closed its doors. And I hope the people who own this trucking company go to prison. Because as a trucking company owner, they need to put a stop to this. See, that's one of the biggest problems in this illegal people in our country debate. We need to crush the businesses that are magnets for these people. The people who are hiring them under the table, the construction places, any place that hires an illegal immigrant needs to be fined millions of dollars per immigrant, per illegal, not immigrant, illegal immigrant. Make that distinction. Because I don't have a problem with immigrants. I don't have a problem with people coming here on visas to work. That's fine. As long as you speak the language and can reasonably take care of the things that you need to take care of as a human being and as American and as a person who's living in the United States, you're fine. But if you can't do that, guess what? You don't get to come here. No. And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that the trucking industry, because of the desperation for truck drivers, because I hate to break it to everybody out there, your lives stop without trucks. Everything you purchase, everything you buy, put in your car, gasoline, food on your table, everything that you have in your life, this microphone, those headphones, these M&Ms, everything comes to you by truck. Everything. Everything you have ever purchased has been on a truck or multiple trucks to get to your hands. Doesn't come by railroads, doesn't come by air freight. Even if it did come by air freight, a truck picks it up at the airport, takes it away from the airport. Same thing going to the airport, takes it to the airport so the plane can fly it and then takes off a truck. You get what I'm saying? Your lives are made possible by trucks and truck drivers, trucking companies. They need to have major overhauls of these industries. They need to fix the problems so that the people who are skilled, who are knowledgeable, who can do these jobs, can get these jobs again. They can pay, that they pay enough, and they have enough of a decent lifestyle that people want to start doing them again. But when you take away the lifestyle, you give them marginal pay, you give them terrible food to eat in hostile work environments where you show up and people act like they don't know why you're there when they're the ones that ordered that shit in the first place. Why would anybody want to do that? Trust me, being a truck driver is like, remember when you were a kid? Now, you millennials and Zs and stuff like that, you won't remember this, but imagine, use your imagination. Put your phone down for a second, turn your brain back on. I know it's hard. It's the first time you've ever used it. But just try this for a second, okay? You're standing all by yourself on one side of a gymnasium. On the other side of the gymnasium is an entire class full of deranged little psychopathic children that are the same age as you are, and they all have rubber balls in their hands. Okay? Now, just I know this is going to traumatize you to think about anything like this, but we're just go with me on this. You're going to take these balls, and they're all going to throw them at you with the attempt to try and hit you with these balls. Now, these balls are not made of concrete. They don't have spikes in them. They're not made of razor wire. They don't have bombs. There's nothing crazy. Just a rubber ball. I know, crazy. And this used to happen to us all the time. We called it fun. You call it. But anyway, so imagine that you're on one side of the. No, let's make it more realistic. Imagine you're on one side of a gymnasium with everybody else on the other side of the gymnasium pointing rifles at you, and they're all trying to shoot you dead. And that's what it's like to be an American truck driver now. Pretty close, pretty close. I mean, they're not trying to kill you. They just want to blow off a finger, take a toe, you shoot you in a kneecap, ruin your day, maybe take off the tip of an ear. They're not really trying to kill you because they know they need you, but they're really trying to make your life horrible and just make you wish you were dead. That's what it's like to be an American truck driver. So imagine people not wanting to do that anymore. So they have to pay desperate people. They have to fly people in here in the cover of darkness and let them flood over our borders so that they can do these horrible jobs in these horrible industries that we've taken from being a good lifestyle and a thing that you could do. And this goes for a lot of industries, not just trucking. And make these poor bastards who are desperate do these jobs that we've made undesirable. That's what's causing this problem. That's what's leading to these things. Now, that poor bastard who was stupid and killed those people deserves to go to prison for the rest of his life. He shouldn't have been in that truck. He made a bad choice, but he made a bad choice from a desperate situation, and the trucking company that took advantage of the desperate situation to get that guy into this place deserves the punishment of all. All these businesses who are using these illegals, rather than changing their own industries, rather than changing how they're treating people, rather than changing how the shipping from and to and all that stuff gets done, instead of changing those things, they're just throwing people into a meat grinder. So that guy was an asshole for being in that truck when he knew he shouldn't have been in that truck. But worse was the people that put him in that truck. And the country that created a system by where this was even a possibility, instead of changing our policies, altering how we're doing things, helping to correct industries that have become corrupt or problematic, and actually solve a problem. God, we don't solve problems in this country anymore, not at all. So that's my take on this, Mixie Max, is that there are so many people to blame in these situations. That the companies involved, the country that's allowed this situation to devolve into this, where we need to. I mean, this is interstate transport, and it is specifically given to the federal government to handle these things. And because of the federal government's mismanagement and stupid behavior in this regard, it's created these problems. And until we decide to start solving problems instead of pretending they don't exist, these things are going to continue to happen. People are going to die. Innocent people are going to end up killing people, like this poor bugger who killed these people. And I don't think he set out that morning. Nobody gets up in the morning. Well, okay, almost nobody. Nobody who's it's not a psychopath doesn't get up in the morning with the intention to kill somebody else. Like I said, he was a dumbass for being in that situation. The trucking company was a bigger dumbass for putting him in that situation, and the country and the industries that created this problem in the first place really are where that blame needs to come back to lie. Not just with those first two places, but the places that created those problems that the trucking companies and the truck drivers are trying to solve unsuccessfully. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this. Fix the problems. Fix our own problems. Stop dropping people into meat grinders and then blaming them for everything that's going wrong in our country. We need to go back to the beginning where the problem started and fix it there so that everybody down the line doesn't have to deal with trying to compensate for the failures of the major corporations who don't give a shit, the major corporations who order stuff before they need it and then want trucks to sit in the dock for 12 hours at warehousing their product because they ordered more than they had room for, and now they're trying to abuse truck drivers who are sitting there getting madder and madder and madder because they can't deliver a product that they were paid to deliver. Trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other things I could talk about, but this video is already going 20 minutes. And so this is where I'm going to leave it. It's a long-winded answer, but this is, believe me or not, this is the Reader's Digest version of this. This is a much bigger problem than people want to realize. And it's going to continue happening until we get our crap together as a nation and start forcing our companies to act in a more realistic way. We need to break up major companies. We need to start using the monopoly laws, not the monopoly, I have an on monocle in my eye guy, but we need to break up these big companies and these mega corporations. We need to crush them down to smaller size so that they are more responsive to the needs of the people, the needs of their consumers and their customers. And that's the only way we're gonna solve this problem, is by crushing the mega corporations, because they don't care. They don't care as long as they're getting their profit. We need to make it unprofitable for them to have this kind of stuff happening in our country. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye now.